We've all heard stories about haunted video games, lost episodes of beloved cartoon or TV shows, but there has always been a medium that until recently seems to have been immune to such tales: the humble comic book. Now, before you ask, I don't know for 1 second believe that there is a massive conspiracy or something hidden reason for this event I'm about to share with you. I think what happened was an example of something that has no reason, no theme. It simply happened. I hope it never happens again. So what happened? I'll tell you. I'm a collector of DC comics, and I have always had a soft spot for Superman. Anyone who was into comics knows that there's sometimes go into dark and disturbing imagery, so when strange or gruesome things occur, most wrongly dismissed it as part of the story. This is what was how I first reacted when I got my hands on what I believed to be a Superman title named No Heroes. The cover was completely black, but the Superman logo was broken and decayed looking. Again, I thought this was all part of the story. I had always flipped through a few pages before purchasing, and to my surprise, it was a fairly standard Superman book, so I bought it without much thought. Taking it home with me, I sat down and began to read the comic in detail. As soon as I opened it, I was greeted with artwork that was drastically different from what I had seen at a glance in the store. Everything had a red tint to it, and the characters were all angry and battered looking. Superman especially looked extremely menacing, and I read the text appearing in the speech bubbles. I admit I was pretty shocked. This was no marked as a mature title, and DC had until fairly recently been pretty uptight about how Superman was and was not to be portrayed, making what I had pretty confusing to say the least. Heroes aren't real. It's all fake. Everyone's a flippin' lie. People aren't going to save you. They watch you bleed. You deserve to die. Life is fatal disease, which slowly eats us away. You're not perfect. You're no hero. Again and again, I read these dark, mysterious lines. It wasn't unusual for dramatic works of such comics to add moments like this, but as I continued to read, I couldn't help but feel this was very off for a Superman book. No, not a single word of it or hope was to be found on titular hero. Just kept silent as everyone around him spewed forth messages of hate and despair. The artwork grew increasingly disturbing with each new page until eventually I began to question if this was some kind of joke. Superman walked down the streets of Metropolis and observed the rotting bodies of many heroes and villains of comic books. To my surprise, some characters were not even DC owned. After a while, the story grew violent as Superman began to destroy what was left of Metropolis. A destruction graphic that normal, even in the more extreme editions of the comic. So Metropolis was destroyed and the two-page pound to the carnage. Bodies laying on the street, what looked like children, implanted on spikes formed by their beards and figures hanging lifelessly from noses to street lamps and signposts. Finally, comic ended with a full panel page of Superman staring directly ahead as if looking up to the reader. A speech bubble permission started. For years you watched us suffer. Now it's your turn, hero. I didn't quite understand what you meant, and at the time I was still disturbed. So, promptly put the thing away and never gave it a second glance. After such a horrid comic, I decided I needed a change of pace. So got out one of my old Batman comics, the old and goofy version of The Dark Knight. Most people hate it, but I somewhat ashamedly had always rather enjoyed. I read the comic. Its old humour and camp style are a refreshing difference from the horror and misery of No Heroes. This was I always remembered classic DC, fun and enjoyable. I got halfway through the comic and had just opened a new page when my eyes wide in shock. I almost dropped the comic as I saw the utter disbelief of full page panel of Superman in its disturbing art style, and staring once more from the comic page, the prominent speech bubble starting, "You get to be happy, hero."